Alright, in this video we're going to be putting a Lectron carb on the DRZ400. What is a carburetor? What do these things do? Well, here I happen to actually have, mine is very parted out, but this is an old DRZ stock carburetor from back in the day when I used to have a DRZ. See, I'm now a Honda elitist F-boy, so you know, I guess I'll work on this thing. This is what you call a CV carburetor, or constant velocity carburetor. So you actually have your manual control back here, and then you have this guy that floats up and down and has your metering rod on it. The thing about CV carburetors, they are very smooth, but they're not necessarily great for throttle response and high performance. Also with the DRZ, they put this 36mm carburetor on here to try to meet some kind of European class of license. It's not the best for power, it's all about some stupid license class they were trying to get to. If you actually look at the old DRZs when they first came out, they all had 39mm flat slides on them. So what Lectron has sent us is their 38mm. A full carb kit comes with not just this, it comes with a new throttle tube, whole throttle assembly, blah, everything you need to put this carburetor on the bike. It appears like it works like a flat slide. I mean, it is a flat slide, but it's Lectron, so it's got some crazy magic in it. Increased throttle response, better horsepower and performance. Should actually get better fuel mileage with these Lectrons because they atomize the fuel so well. Is it atomize or itemize? Atomize. Really cool thing about it is the clear float bulb. No, the way this carburetor works, it doesn't change anything mechanically in it, but it's just the nature of how it works. You don't have to readjust it for altitude changes, for temperature changes. This thing is just ready to go. No jets in it. Just simply turn these adjusters if we do have to make any changes to the carburetor, but they should come ready to go. A real great upgrade to this thing. I just wanted to hit it because it's got this giant... Just come out?
They shouldn't.
Remember, with a DRZ, you have to do that. Don't just pull it. It's that and that. How many people have ripped that there? The carburetor on the DRZ and a lot of bikes for that matter is in there fairly tight, so an easy thing you can do is actually hinge the subframe just a little bit. So in order to do that, we do need to unbolt the exhaust. That's held on here and here on this bike. Just undo the bolts. You don't have to take the exhaust off. You can leave it sitting there. We just need it off so we can move the frame a little bit. When you go to pull this bolt out, you probably won't be able to unless you push up on the subframe a little bit. Then, now it's out, and what we can do is we can push down just a little bit on it. When we loosen up the carburetor, this will make more sense. Take a 10mm and we'll loosen up these nuts here to take the throttle lines off. So this is the throttle body position sensor. If you kind of grab a line and pull it back and forth, you can figure out what it goes to. It goes to this connector. So yeah, the Lectron carb isn't gonna run this. All we're gonna do to this is just tape this off. The bike will run just fine without it. It's not a problem. A lot of the aftermarket carbs don't run the throttle body position sensor. This is my professional way of taping off a sensor. First of all, make sure your hands are as filthy as they can get, as well as everything else. Tape likes dirt. But I like to do me a piece like this, then a second one crisscrossing the other way. Do some little round ones here, look at that. And then just shove it fucking in there somewhere. The least I can see it, the better. Loosen up the clamps on the carburetor, not the ones on the motor or on the airbox or anything, just the ones going to the carburetor. You want to get them loose enough to where you can, you know, spin them pretty good. So remember, we pulled that bolt out of the subframe, we undid the exhaust. You don't have to push it a lot, but watch, if I push down the subframe just a little bit, it gives us this little bit of a gap here. And then if we pull on this airbox, you can see how this carburetor really helps us for getting this thing out. The DRZs is always a little bit tricky, but it kind of wedges the ass back here. Oh, here we go. Hey, so it comes out. All right, we all saw that.
Takes a little bit of finesse.
Just gently give this a little pry here. We should be able to get this off. Remember, you're pushing against aluminum here, so don't like, you know, just take this off and go clean it. We didn't already do this. It was just this clean with everything else on here like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this before we stick the carburetor in. Keep your thumb over it because there's some spring tension here. Not like a crazy amount, but you don't want to be chasing these little parts down. You'll be very upset with yourself. And there we go, that's where your throttle line will go in. They got this little capped off vacuum little line right here, and if you're running the stock petcock, you actually need to hook up to this because that requires a vacuum to turn it on and off. But my brother's bike here has an aftermarket, just regular on, off, and reserve petcock, so we'll just leave this capped. I'm actually gonna leave this thing out until I get the carburetor up in here. I just know from doing DRZ carbs enough in the past to know that this works out a little bit better if you don't have this in. I imagine this carb to be about the same. I mean, look how easy with this pulled back, how easy this is. So we're gonna push it up into the boot as much as we can. Now it's a little tight getting this in here, but I know it's possible. Look at that. Easy. Now yeah, I'm gonna take the whole carb, give it a little bit of a twist till we get this top part on, then we'll put it back together. I'm a big dingus McChingus, and I forgot to put the clamps on, but that's all right. It's not ideal, but you can still get these on. You can just give them a slight persuasion. Get very upset. Since Ian's grips are in decent shape, we'll try to reuse them. He likes these grips. The Lectron kit comes with some actually really nice grips, but most people, they like the grips they like. He likes these and they're in good shape, so I think we just reuse these ones. Ian hasn't glued these on, so we should be able to get them off, but I'm not gonna lie, I haven't taken a whole lot of grips off like this. Usually when grips go off, they're not coming back on, but if I'm crafty, I'll do it. Oh, I can feel the air pushing in. Ooh, turned me on. What's cool about this kit is, like they're throwing parts in there that they're getting redundancy parts of, so it's like, they're buying this whole kit themselves just to send it to you because it's what they want to run, and it's quality stuff here, so you're getting this extra throttle housing because their system runs a single cable pull. I know a lot of people think that the single cable pull is like dangerous and it can cause like a vacuum seal against it, and I can see what they're saying. That is true on some bikes. My XR650R, it's not been a problem. If you're running handguards, you gotta do that. You have a Lectron throttle cam, and this is your quick turn throttle cam. I know on my XR, I'm running the quick turn because whirlies and stuff. I don't think it's too overly responsive. So is that what you want to run, Ian? Okay, yeah. We got our new line here. We'll work it on up. They have some of the world-class Barrett, as we think it's called, grease. Just throw a little bit on this area. Just kind of. It's so sticky. This doesn't give me confidence at all. I don't want to use this. This is shit. We gotta get this shit off. This isn't good. You want your fucking throttle stuck wide open? This is definitely going to the Patreon edit now. Hi everyone on Patreon. Thanks for supporting. I'd like to put just a real light amount of grease on here. Loosen both of these up here because we found that we need to come in just a little bit with it. And I think the best thing to do is to start with the furthest thing out, the throttle tube. And we want to make sure, of course, that it's a bit of a gap between the very end here. We don't want it overhanging the end at all. That would cause us issues later. It's a little bit of a juggling act. It's like you got to get this ready, the cable, kind of everything at once here. Into the cable will thread into here, so we'll just give it a couple turns on. Alright, everything's still kind of loose on here right now. Put just a little spray, general spray down in here. Guess we're putting a lot. That's cable lubricant there. Kind of like tightening the plastic cover over a light socket. Don't cram this down and crack it like an idiot. I can see this is definitely going to be a situation where when you have to service the brake, you're just going to have to loosen this and twist it out of the way, but when you go to aftermarket things, this kind of stuff happens. Not a big deal. We're trying to figure out what makes the best sense for running this cable. We've actually come around the other side of the frame, going through here, kind of underneath this radiator hose, and then we were coming right up against this rubber piece here. Rests right here on the frame. From what we can tell, this might be some kind of rubber piece to make contact with the gas tank. Although looking at our gas tank, which is fairly dirty on the inside, we can't see where this is making contact, so we feel pretty confident just removing it. Another thing we're thinking about doing, just because we look at the angle that this is going to be coming out at, it's getting really close to this bolt right here. I see no reason why we can't just flip this bolt around and have the head on this side and the threads going the other way. That'll give us just a pinch more clearance. Then we'll kind of line everything up and see how it's fitting. Okay. Click, click. Now you gotta do the funny thing with the spring. Scrunch it up. Slightly obnoxious, but there we go. That's what we're looking for. Screw me. Because when you use your mind, you take a step back in time. You do anything. Rotate this back into position. I haven't adjusted anything yet, but hey, that feels all right. So I'm gonna bring the subframe back up here and try to work this piece down. You may have to work this back and forth a few times to make sure you're not binding up anywhere. The deal is the angulations, if that makes any sense to you, is gonna be a little off because it's not like you're just going in, you're rotating in. So sometimes you gotta play with it a few times. I can see the backside here is binding up just slightly. And just like we were manipulating before, I'm actually pushing the subframe like slightly more up than it needs to go to help force this on. Click, click. Stuck the tank on, just making sure we've got good clearances for everything. Fuel line will go there. Nothing is rubbing. Throttle has smooth action no matter how we turn the wheel. Putting zip ties on these vent hoses. Don't crush them, you're just trying to get them snug in place. You want to have a little bit of slack in there so when the bars turn back and forth, it doesn't open the throttle. Once you get it right, tighten the jam nut up. Just gotta make sure when the hand guard's on that this doesn't have any rubbing on it. Before I actually bolt the tank down, I'm going to hook the fuel line up and we're gonna make sure the bike starts and everything. I think I need to cut it here, but I'm gonna cut it here because, you know, that whole like wisdom and stuff. Here's everyone's favorite shot in the whole wide world. Are you ready for it? It wouldn't hurt to pop the side cover back on just because the bike will run a little bit more lean with this off. And with the tank on again, we'll do a... Gotta check it. Seems good. Choke. I know my XR, with my XR it won't start with the choke on, but at least it kind of helps prime it. So we'll start with that. Yeah, it's the same thing my XR does. All right, I'm gonna turn the choke off. Literally first start and she's fired right up. That's a good sign. We're running for a few minutes now, idling perfectly. Throttle is real snappy. I think we'll go ahead and bolt it all back up together. I'll take it for a spin, but feels good. So you've just been out riding around your DRZ with the Lectron carburetor. What do you think?
Definitely a lot snappier than it was before, absolutely. It gets moving a lot quicker, and I think it's even easier to start, honestly. I'm definitely happy with it.
How much have you been paid to say this?
None.
When I posted the video on Instagram, several people commented saying that the Lectron carb made no more power than the stock CV carb.
That's definitely not true. It is way snappier.
All right.
It is way snappier. I was a little bit hesitant about this single throttle cable too instead of a push-pull, but it's had no issues as well.
Well, it doesn't stick on my 650 from absolutely wide open, so I think they've got that squared away. I just don't think that's an issue.
Yeah, the same or maybe less, probably less figuring out or install than you have to do with a flat slide.
A flat slide on a DRZ, okay, remember that bolt we turned around on the frame?
Yeah.
Flat slide carb, you have to take off those mounts and move both of them together and put them on one side, and it doesn't feel like that's gonna hold that's not structurally as smart. Like structurally it's not as smart, and it's the only way to make that flat slide fit in there really well, unless you have a factory E model.
Yeah.
And then like I said, you'd have to tune it. It took me probably 2 to 3 weeks to get my DRZ fully dialed in. That was taking it out and riding it daily to get the flat side squared away. We put this in there and literally did 0 adjustment to it. We still haven't adjusted it. Like I just don't feel like there's a need right now.
No,
it feels solid.
Nasty how it is. I think they've got the DRZ absolutely dialed in for how they push those carbs out of the factory there.
Factory. Well, that's it. It's a wrap. I mean, I'm a Honda elitist boy now, so I think this thing's dumb, but I guess it's better than it was.
Yep.
Hey, we did get a click. You didn't like that at all.
What the fuck was that?
You're gonna sit down in your thinking chair. You're gonna think. Ready? Yeah. Oh, is it filming? Mm-hmm. Okay, we need to remove this bolt. Hold on. Turn me on. Fucking die. Then he died. Are you filming? Fire! Jake's Tech Tips here. Walmart Windex is a quick and easy way to wash your hands in the garage. I used to use brake cleaner, but I started tasting it on my tongue. That's poisoning to you.